It is my great pleasure to introduce you to Derrick Moore. Please give him a round of applause.
When I played pro football for the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons, the one thing that you always wanted to do is live up to expectations. You have these predetermined type opinions about players and what they're going to be, their draft projections and their status as they come out of college and they get drafted, whether they're going in the first round or the 8th round, et cetera, et cetera. And then when they get there, you hope that they are all what they're cracked up to be. And so, and of course, when you put the money behind it, that's a whole different experience. So you hope the money matches the skill set, I'm going to stand in this podium and I'm going to just give it to you the way I can give it to you. In the year of 2017, I was the voice of the Falcons in their unbelievable run to the Super Bowl there with that program, Dan Quinn and those guys, and I would do fan engagement videos, etc. And Dan Quinn called it the brotherhood, if you remember those kinds of things. And that was me in those videos, getting the fans all pumped up and excited, in the about talking about the brotherhood. It was awesome, unbelievable experience. And we went all the way to the Super Bowl. And I hate to be reminded of what took place at the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh. I tell you what took place. I tell you what it is. That darn Tom Brady. Oh gosh, he's retiring. Yeah! Now maybe somebody else can win a Super Bowl. It's unbelievable. Tom's an awesome guy. I happen to know Tom. I will tell you this. I was at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, 2021 class, 2022 class, and I was the presenter for Calvin Johnson, who they call Megatron. And I knew Calvin from his Georgia Tech days. I mentored Calvin, and he was so awfully kind to invite me to be his presenter at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. It was an extraordinary experience, just absolutely extraordinary. So we're having a conversation. There's Peyton Manning standing there. There's his daddy, Archie Manning, standing there. And there's Calvin Johnson. And then here comes Tom Brady walking up to us here. And I looked around and said, well, what doesn't belong in this circle? So it's extraordinary, and so I get to meet Tom, and can tell you this: much as I admire his unbelievable talents, I tell you what, man, he was a thorn in our flesh. I'm gonna tell you, man, he would just pick you apart. Just a genius of a football player and quarterback, brilliant mind, was ahead of his time, if you ask me. Late round draft pick, and just absolutely there. It's hard to say there'll ever be another Tom Brady, and in his retirement, he's got so much to look back on as exemplary work. When you're coming out of college, you graduate from college, my mom finally said, go get a real job. She said, you still playing this darn football thing? Are you kidding me? Get a real job, get a job. And so I said, well, it is a real job. It is a job, I said, they're paying me quite handsomely, to do what I do. So here's the deal. I come out, and these Falcons took me and drafted me. And so everywhere I go, and particularly I could not come into Mercedes-Benz Stadium and say one thing any further before I give you some details and be done without paying homage to the Falcons. I appreciate what that organization did on my behalf 1,000 years ago, and made this guy one of their draft picks, and I've been all around the country doing various things since that time. I'm a patient speaker, okay? Is what I am, but I'd like to get to know you. I want to be your friend. For just a few moments, you don't know me. I'm a perfect stranger to you, and you're going to be saying, I'm glad it's over, he's gone. But that's okay. I love meeting new people, new faces. I can tell you, I'm a people watcher, and I enjoy being around people. I love relationships. I think relationships make the world go round. They really, really do. It's not just who you know, it's who knows you. It's reputation. I've always said a good name is greater than riches and wealth. And whether it's an organization, a company, a Fortune 500 company, or an individual, we earn these names. We earn the right to be called what we're called, whether it's something positive or something negative, but we earn the right, and we become famous for the things that we call ourselves. Everybody hold their phone up. I know you got one. Go ahead and do it. You've got one. Yeah, I know. I mean, you know what? They've tricked us, by the way. Our whole lives are in those things, aren't they? I mean, oh my gosh, man. I can't even remember a number anymore. Everything's in here. Everything's in there. My whole life is in that phone. Everything's trapped in there. What a brilliant concept, and what an unbelievable, innovative piece of technology the iPhone is. Extraordinary, just extraordinary. As I look at the thing, it really does. I can just put things in it. It does wow. It just does all these things. It's unbelievable. And great minds and great technology obviously champion the iPhone. And so the advances in technology, innovation, and capability, creating great experiences. User-friendly, you want that, don't you? I want that, you want that. But nothing, I will tell you this, there's nothing more extraordinary than what I'm about to tell you now. I think the great poet Maya Angelou said it best. She said, it's not always important that I remember everything a speaker told me, but I always remember how the speaker made me feel. And I found that to be pretty extraordinary. When I hear hospitality, I think about the way something makes me feel as a result to experiencing it. If you can rally around that concept for a moment. So, as we look at it, the power, how about this term? You see that up there? Has anybody else, is that a word? It's not a word, but it's my innovative idea. It's my concept. That's what I'm doing. So I call that relevation. Okay, that's what that is. And I'm going to tell you what, the powerful connection between relationships and innovation. That the two have to coexist. Innovation and technology, they can't exist alone. They have to coexist to be successful. So relationships needed innovation. I've always said that. Relationships need innovation, and innovation need relationships. So they needed to sort of marry, come together, and make this connection so that we can have the experiences that we're having. And so relevation is an idea and a concept and an innovative thought that I wanted to use at your conference to share the powerful connection between the two. And they can't stand alone, they can't operate independently of each other, but they absolutely desperately need the connection to be extraordinary and the experiences to be what they need to be. They are extraordinary terms. So hang on to that for a moment. Let me take you further. I love Starbucks. I do. My wife got me hooked on Starbucks. And so I love the experience, though, and I don't just go and say, why don't you just make your own coffee? I don't make my own coffee. I pay $7-8 for the darn coffee is what I'll do. I'll do it, And so I drive through the drive, and I go so often now that they know my voice when I pull up. They know, Mr. Derrick, how are you? How's Miss Stephanie? That's priceless. I can't stop that. They've talked about my wife now. I've got to come back again. And so I come and I go through, and when I get to the front, they've got my coffee ready to go. My name's on it, And even when I say, they don't even have to put it on the screen. They already know what I'm going to ask for. It never changes with me. I go through it. I get my coffee. I sit there in my drive-through. I'm relaxing. Oh my gosh, give me my hot coffee. It's the greatest experience there is. And I just love it. I love it. So I don't just pay for coffee. I pay for an experience. And certainly, we today are into business for not only products and services, but for experiences also. I always say the cardinal sin in any endeavor is quitting. In the sport that I play, in football, that I played, I don't play anymore, but I get to teach and coach young people now at South Carolina, and the one thing that we never do is quit in anything. And you think back to 2020 when obviously COVID really took us by storm, and the shutdowns were extraordinary, and things just ravished our communities, and stores and shops and places start to close, and we had restrictions and limitations and all the sort. But as I studied your research, you thrived. You thrived in that climate. And obviously, it's not just because of the great minds and the technology and the pieces and the relationship, but it was about the relationships, the connections that were made, and to be able to see your brands still move the needle, even in very difficult experiences and difficult times. I want to read a poem to you that I absolutely love. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh when care is pressing you down a bit. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. I'll go to the very end. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. You know, that's the real sign of progress and enthusiasm and passion and excitement, is to be able to generate those kinds of things in the direst of moments, in the most difficult of experiences, and yet thrive in those experiences. Because the easiest thing to do is to say, I'm just going to give up. That's the easiest thing to do. It is as simple as 1, 2, 3. It takes no effort, takes no work, takes no ingenuity, takes nothing to just say, I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to quit. But humanity finds a way. Relationships finds a way. Technology finds a way. And even in that storm, the two connected still. Came together and pushed us further down the road beyond COVID, and we're still thriving, and we're still doing conferences, and we're still meeting in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and we're still coming from all over the country, because relationship and technology and innovation works, and when you bring them together, it's almost an unstoppable experience. I've always said, I don't always outperform people on day one, but I will outlast you. And once I'll outlast you, I will ultimately outperform you. And so it's not about outperforming them, it's about outlasting them. Some stick-to-itiveness, you know, some things that causes someone to hang around and hang around and hang around and hang around and just hang around, and then the storm and the cloud moves out and the sun comes back out again, and now you're ready to pounce, you know, on the latest and greatest and stay on the cutting edge when it comes to creativity and excitement. That's what this thing is all about. And I've always said that those are the things that make life fun and make life the thrill that it is. You know, is one's ability to forge ahead, you know, amidst unique challenges that we all face from time to time. Thank you very much. Awesome.